Hello everyone, welcome to the Philly Improv here for Rachel's one-on-one stand-up class show. Please take a moment to sign your cell phones for the listening electronic devices. Welcome to the stage, your host for the evening, Rachel Fogletto.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Give yourselves a round of applause. You guys are great friends, really great friends. Just a few things before we get started. This is the graduation show for a 6-week-long class. If anybody out there is interested in taking classes, please check out phillyimprovtheater.com. Talk to me after the show, all that stuff. Housekeeping stuff, put your phone on silent or vibrate or whatever. If you have to take a call, step out. Don't talk or heckle. You guys know. You guys are kids. You got this. And I know everybody's here to see like one person, but everybody here worked really hard. So if something's funny, laugh at it. It doesn't matter if one person gets more like it's on a contest or anything like that. So just like sit back, relax, enjoy it, laugh when stuff is funny. And then in terms of like filming and camera, only take. Please don't take any pictures or film anybody unless they've already worked it out with you, like consented to it. Don't Facebook Live it, all that stuff. YouTube, it's like the worst to find yourself like bombing on YouTube like 3 months later. So yeah, all that stuff. So if somebody like on the show told you to film them or take pictures, that's fine. But just don't like randomly Periscope people. That's still a thing, right? Alright, so now that boring stuff is out of the way, I'll tell you guys a couple jokes to get you warmed up, although I think you feel pretty warm already, and then we'll get the show rolling. Sound good? Yeah. You guys ever drink so much you have to check your debit card history in the morning to figure out your night before? I bought what on Amazon? Yeah, it's a wonder I made it today. Like, you're welcome. Guys, people say bad stuff about Philly all the time, but I disagree. Like there's stuff in Philly you can't see anywhere else. Like, have you ever seen an ATM that looked like it would try to rob you itself? You tried to use it? I live in South Philly. I walk by an ATM like this every day. It's located in an alley behind a boxing gym. Pretty sure it's just a guy in an ATM disguise. I grew up in the suburbs of South Jersey, though, so when I moved here, my mom got really nervous because Philadelphia has such a bad reputation. But I don't like to judge an area on whether or not it's good or bad based on its reputation. I don't like to do that. I judge an area on whether or not it's good or bad based on what people sell in that area. For instance, the first time I came around here, I took the bus, and when it was time for my stop, a man jumped out of his seat, started walking up and down the bus saying, "I have Coke. If anybody needs Coke, I can sell you Coke if you want to buy Coke." And I knew immediately that I was in a good neighborhood. People could afford cocaine here. By the same token, I lived in West Philly for a couple years, and this one evening I was coming out of what I thought was a perfectly fine establishment for purchasing my 40 ounce of Steel Reserve. And there was a man standing on the corner, and he was like, "Excuse me, miss, I'll sell you this cigarette for 50 cents. And he was smoking the cigarette. Which means that that's worked for him before. I am trying to better myself. It's a new year. I have all these apps on my phone that track what I do. I'm sure you have a bunch of them. I have an app that tracks all the steps that I take. I have an app that tracks all the food that I eat. And I just downloaded an app that tracks how many fights I get in with my boyfriend. It's called My Faults. It's sad though, because every time we argue I have to reset it back to 0. It's like one of those accident report signs you see scotch taped to a roller coaster at the Jersey Shore. I'm probably just going to get rid of it because it almost got me into trouble. Like, he didn't know I had it, and we were out on a date, and a notification just started flashing, and it said, "Congratulations, you've gone 14 days without arguing with Michael." He was like, "Who the hell is Michael?" Get rid of that. I'm in a new relationship, though. Thank you. With my family. They're Italian Catholic. We're at the stage in our relationship where they want to know when I'm having kids, which is the worst conversation. It's so uncomfortable. Because anytime a family member says something to me like, "Rachel, when are you going to have babies?" all it sounds like in my head is, "Rachel, when are you going to stop giving all those blowjobs?" I don't know, Nana. That's a personal question. I want you to get the wrong idea about me. I like babies. I used to be a baby. Just don't know if I want any of my own, you know. If I wanted to deal with a person who cried all day and needed me constantly, I would just date other women. It's just a joke about me. It's okay. Try anything once, honestly. Now, guys, I love women. I'm a feminist. I grew up in a feminist household, which is just a white woman way of saying your dad left. Hardest part about feminism for me is buying all these drinks for myself. Am I right? Hint. I love doing comedy for the main reason that I get seasonal depression, which is just a mood disorder that's so pathetic. Medical science simply refers to it as sad. And I honestly just think that I only have seasonal depression as a result of my ADHD. You know, like I could be depressed all year round, but I can't commit to just one way of disappointing everyone. And the worst part isn't even the depression itself, it's just how passive-aggressive and bitchy I am to my friends who want to help me. They'll be like, Rachel, you should get out of bed today. And I'll be like, you should stop eating processed foods and blaming all your shortcomings on your dad never being there. So you don't like it when people call you out on your disabilities for no apparent reason? Or they'll be like, Rachel, you should come out to this party. Everybody wants you to be there. I'm like, oh, it's about what everybody else wants, isn't it? I want a vibrator that can make me come and feign emotional intimacy. Can't find it on Amazon, though. Guys, are you ready to keep this show going? I want you to give a huge round of applause for the very funny Beanie Cornell.
Peace, everybody. I'm Beanie Cornell. I'm an old hippie. I'm a computer programmer now, but I used to be a hippie. And back in the 60s and 70s, you know, it was all about being cool. Everybody was cool. We were all hip. And it was all about peace, love, and drugs. The years go by, man. You lose your idealism. You get cynical. You become disillusioned. You know, it's hard to believe in things like peace and love anymore. But we still got the drugs, right? And back in the day, we'd smoke some J's, we'd drop some acid, pop some pills, right? I still do that shit. And I was doing a gig last week, and before the show, I was back in the green room, and I was getting ready to pop some pills. There was this other performer there, and he says, hey man, is that stuff going to get you higher? I said, I hope not. That one's for my cholesterol. That one's for my blood pressure. That one's I'm trying to get lower, man. I'm not trying to get higher. But I really had a good time talking to that guy, and it turns out that he was a millennial. And we got along great. Are there any millennials here today? Woo! Well, that's great, because usually they don't do anything. But I love millennials. Right? I should have been a millennial, because you guys, they're never going to crush your dreams. They will never take your hope away. You're never going to be disillusioned. You already know you're all fucked. and I know that the baby boomers are responsible. It's the greed, it's the consumerism of the baby boomers, and we ruined everything. And I'm embarrassed about it. You know, baby boomers spend their money on stupid shit like ShamWow, Chia Pets, participation trophies. Yeah, we invented them, we paid for them, and we blame the millennials for receiving them. It's so, of course, there's bound to be some intergenerational conflict, but we can get past it. We can find common ground. Because one thing about hippies and millennials, we all hate authority, right, man? Down with the establishment. I always hated authority, and it was hard for me because I went to Catholic school, and those nuns, they were so strict. And they taught us about religion and math and grammar. I hated all that shit. The one thing that I liked learning about, though, was antonyms. You know, words that mean the opposite of each other, like hot, cold, open, closed, college educated, debt free. And sometimes people use entire sentences that say the exact opposite of what they mean. Like, I am not a crook. I did not have sexual relations with a woman. I am a very stable genius. Jesus, President Trump, President Trump! Those words, they should be evidence. But not the rest of the Republicans, though. They got their shit together, you know? They're focused, they're on message. A couple of weeks ago, a train full of Republicans in Congress tragically crashed into a pickup truck and killed a 28-year-old man. And the Republicans didn't miss a beat. Right away, they issued a statement. They said, this is continued evidence of the Republican commitment to ensure that today's worker will never collect Social Security. Look, that guy went quick. The rest of us, it's death by 1,000 corporate tax cuts. Thank you. Peace. I'm beating for you.
How's everybody feeling? Good. So, I'm really starting to hate social media nowadays, you know? I feel like they know me way too well. I was on Facebook the other day, and the first 3 ads I saw was back hair removal, lose weight fast pills, get the results you want, no work, and an arranged marriage dating app from my parents. I didn't know what was worse, the fact that they knew all these things, or the fact that I paid for all 3. You ever feel like your parents didn't teach you some things for life that you needed? No?
Yeah.
Oh, only one dumb one here? For me, having parents who had an arranged marriage, I knew nothing about women. Nothing at all. But I knew the difference between premium plus gas. Right? Could pump your gas for you. I don't think you guys heard me right on that one. That's cool. My friends, though, they had a bunch of confidence in me. They're always trying to make me get with white girls. I never understood. I'm like, come on. You know my parents would never approve. My ass is going to go back to India, where I'm going to have to take care of cows instead of being able to eat them. Besides, like, look at me. I'm short, chubby, brown. Kind of look like a milk dud. When I was a kid, though, I had the most confidence in the world, you know, because as a kid, you just say things until you learn. Probably not supposed to say that. As a kid, I would use rap lyrics to get women, you know. You watch it on TV, there's a bunch of guys hanging around, talking, 30 women naked around them. I figured it had to work. I tried my best to impersonate them. I used to let my turban down so it looked like a do-rag. I was trying to be my role model, you know, 50 Cent at the time. And I tried to use his lyrics, too. You know, one day I was on the bus, and I told this girl, I was like, hey, I really like you. And if you like me, I'll show you my magic stick. Now, I didn't know what it meant all the time, but I was like, it's the most magical stick on the fucking planet. You trust me. She was like, oh, what does it do? So I was like, all right, continue with the lyrics. I was like, well, it'll have you up early in the morning. I work the middle, rock the boat, straight beat it up, skeet it up. If I hit once, I'll be guaranteed to hit twice. You wish you still had that confidence as a kid, though. Nowadays, I just gotta set the expectations really low. I'm like, alright, look, this is probably gonna happen. It's gonna be really fast. Probably very average. But we're gonna get stoned and watch Netflix after, so it's cool. Thank you so much, guys. My name's Fogletto.
For Manny City, everybody. And give that wonderful round of applause. host comedian, the very funny Emily Weiner. Hey everybody. What's poppin', party people? How many of y'all here have ever been hit on? Wow. Impressive for a low bar comedy show. I generally don't expect to be hit on by dudes because I always look at least as gay as I do right now. It is intentional. This is a strategic combination of the burning bras feminism days, gotta acknowledge it, and Dyke Dad taking the kids to practice. Amidst like an overall vibe of I don't give a fuck. It is absolutely a defense mechanism against that brand of dude who has made this contemporary women's movement possible. Thank you. It's been working. I've got months of validated user testing just to get my tech bros back on board. Last spring I was walking through Center City when a homeless guy stopped me on the street and he looked up at me because he's on the ground and he said, "Oh, you look like one of those old-timey lesbians." To which I said, "Thank you." And I'm sorry I don't carry any cash. Because we all lie sometimes. It's true, people say weird shit to me all the time. I nanny these twin 6-month-old babies in South Philly where I live, and the other day I was pushing the double stroller on the sidewalk when this older guy who looked like he'd been chain smoking for hours on his stoop hollered over at me and said, "Double trouble? I hope you had double the fun making them." Sir, that's not how science works. We've enhanced the curriculum since you've been in school. Not by much, but enough to know how twins are made. I do love these baby girls. And it's true that most people assume I'm their mom, so I just don't correct them. That's fine. People will say things to me like, "Oh my gosh, they are beautiful. They have your eyes." To which I again say, "Thank you." You know, people are fascinated by twins and they ask me, like, "Twins, that's crazy. Do they sleep at the same time?" And I say, "Oh yeah, Maya had a pretty good night last night. She woke up just once for a bottle, and Lex was up a few more times in the night." And I'm not lying. I am saying true things. I am just not telling them that it is their actual moms who told me that information earlier in the day before paying me. It's a little risky. You know, I'm taking these girls to some of the same neighborhood spots that their moms are, so presumably we're encountering some of the same folks. So I figure, best case scenario, we grow the neighborhood suspicion that there's like a queer ladies underground co-parenting commune. Worst case scenario, I get arrested for kidnapping. I mean, like, I won't go to jail. I'm a nice white Jewish lady. We all know I have a disproportionately high number of defense lawyers in my family. That was crazy about the Eagles shenanigans, yeah? No, not that we won. That it was not just white people doing blatantly illegal shit in front of cops and getting away with it. What? Post-racial America, it only needed a really violent sport. I love group texting my divorced parents. You all know. It's a 50% rate. I love it very much. You know, coming out as bisexual to your divorced parents via group text. It's like trapping the Capulets and Montagues in a burning building. Right? Like, everyone wants to get out of there, and you start to wonder if it would just be easier to die. And my dad said something true but unhelpful about how having kids with one type of partner would be more expensive than having kids with another type of partner. And my mom included the word "anyway" after the phrase, "we love you." It's true, people say weird shit to me all the time. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a good one.
guys, how you doing?
Good.
All right, so one of my friends and family make fun of me all the time for looking like I'm homeless, is what they put it as. First of all, I don't see it. But, yeah, it's just kind of getting on my nerves. Like, you wear sweatpants every day, and, like, smoke PCB under a bridge for 6 months one time, and, like, now you're homeless to your family.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing. And then everybody starts getting into your personal business, you know, like, oh, Chase, where'd all my cardboard and markers go? Oh, Chase, why are you trying to sell my cat? Oh, Chase, why is there semen all over my trench coat? It's because you never wear them, that's why. Jesus. But let's get right down to it, guys. I want to talk about two of my favorite embarrassing stories today, and they're both of very embarrassing sexual exploits of mine. So, in high school, I was at a party, and a girl tapped me on the shoulder and said, hey, let's go upstairs. I was like, no fucking way, really? Go upstairs. Start to almost have sex, and I hear, Megan! Who's in there? She pushes me off and says, go hide. And I kind of like scamper my naked body into the closet, just huddle over my 16-year-old wang. She goes to the door and says, no, what are you talking about? There's no one here. You're crazy. And I just hear him say, I fucking see you! And I look up, and to my left is a full-length mirror. The exact wrong spot where our eye lines are directly making contact. And he goes beet red and pushes his daughter out of the way, grabs him by the arm and says, get the fuck out of my house. I managed to get my pants up, but I don't have a shirt on, so I'm in his driveway without a shirt on. And I'm just thinking, like, oh, fuck, what's going to happen? Is the party still going on? Am I ever going to get that shirt back? I really like that shirt. That was my party shirt. And her older brother comes out and kind of, like, saunters over to me and goes, like, hey, my dad told me I have to give you a ride home. He tosses me a shirt, and it's a bright orange flyer shirt. You might have seen it. And in big, grainy letters on the front, it says, unfinished business. And the second one is about one of my favorite topics. About a year ago, I got chlamydia! And I got chlamydia from a girl named Angel, which I just couldn't help but laugh about. And just to paint a picture of Angel for you, we were all going around the room one day saying our dreams and aspirations. My friends were like, oh, I want to be a writer, I want to be a director, I want to be something else unrealistic. I guess to Angel, and she says, you know, I just want to be a professional Snapchatter and, like, follow DJs around Atlantic City, you know what I mean? First of all, we didn't know what she meant. But, and I know what you're thinking, guys, like, that's basically verbal chlamydia she just gave me in a sentence right there. Why did I still have sex with this girl, much less without a condom? And the only explanation I have is that I'm weak. I'm a weak trash bag man. And not even like a hefty bag man, you know? Like, just a glad bag man full of trash and shame. Pretty upsetting, actually. And one of my favorite jokes to make is that I just look at somebody and just give them a name based on pretty much knowing nothing about them. So a great example of this is I saw a guy the other day in cargo shorts, a tap-out t-shirt, and holding a Monster Energy drink. And that's Dustin, every time. That is Dustin with Tyler, maybe. And the other day I saw another man. He was in an all-gray EMS jumpsuit with Puma sunglasses, and you've never seen Puma sunglasses anywhere. And this man walked by, and I heard him say, but what about the crab cakes? And that guy's name has to be Devin. Spelled with an I, and he's very particular about it. And the other day, I have an ex-girlfriend, and I didn't know what her new boyfriend looked like, or what his name was. And I saw a picture of her on the back of a Vespa, holding on to an Italian-looking man in a black turtleneck, very tight black pants, pointy black shoes, and black hair pulled back in a ponytail. And it says, Heart My Carmelo. And that man's name is really Carmelo. And I couldn't really decide if I was upset about it or that my joke had come to absolute perfect fruition. All right, thank you guys. That's my time.
Yeah, how is everyone doing?
Good.
Oh man, lately I've been seeing a cultural shift at work. And it happened like literally like 2 months ago, like on the dot. I mean, I walk into the bathroom and there's two people saw me texting at the urinal. I'm like, when did this start? I didn't know about this. This is a thing? I mean, personally, I try not to be slutty with my text. I'm very particular. Like, I have specific situations when I like to text. Like, it seems that when I text, it's like, when driving. Like, not when I'm walking down the street, but like when I'm stepping into oncoming traffic. That's like the best time to text. I think driving, like texting and driving, I enjoy, but I think what I enjoy more is brushing my teeth when I drive. Anyone brush their teeth? I love it. I did it for like 2 years straight. And I used to have, it was weird, because some days I'd have this like sense of pride, like I got the cleanest teeth in the world, and any of the drivers on the, and other days I'd have this like shame about it. I'd be like, I'd stop at the stop sign and I would like open the door and spit out. And go to the next stop sign and maybe mouthwashing out the side. Even today there's like a permanent stain on this bottom of my door that's still there, and I feel awkward having to explain it to people. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that stain when you're like 11 or 12, inside of your bed, and you hope your mom doesn't know about, and you hope no one really talks about. I mean, I do love toothpaste though. I mean, I love toothpaste, and the texting, the driving, and the brushing teeth, and I think there's something to do with like this inner angst. Because when I was younger, I used to always take the toothpaste, and I would squirt it in my mouth, because these mundane things we do in the day, like brushing. You got to make it fun. So I one time squirted it in my mouth, like half the tube in my mouth. It got caught in the back of my throat, and I started to choke. So it was like my own personal Darwin Awards. I was thinking I'm going to die for this stupid reason, and I'm not going to get an award for this. So I'm looking at myself in the eye in the mirror, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And clarity comes when you're about to die. And I look in my eye, I look in the mirror, and I'm like, wow, I haven't even had sex yet. Oh. Well, I'm glad as we get older, inner angst goes away, and I'm glad that, that as I get older, that only happens, I'm glad that didn't happen more recently, because, it would have wrecked my Valentine's Day, this one that happened the last 2 weeks ago, so, I want to thank everyone. Thanks.
Keep that energy going. We got some more comedians left for the very fun. Keep clap. Yeah. Everybody, Sean Brown.
Woo! Good start. I just think it's arrogant that people ever think they're out of the woods when it comes to shitting your pants. You're never too old. You're never too old to shit your pants. People wake up and they're like, I'm not going to shit my pants today. You don't fucking know. It's good to be here. I'm in debt. Anybody in debt? Sally Mae's my girl. I was in my grace period, and for those that don't know, the grace period is like the little moment after you graduate where they're like, you don't owe us yet, but it's coming. And they would send me these emails every week, and then just be like, you're 1 week closer to having to pay us. And getting those emails was kind of like when the rich guy who's hunting you on his private island gives you a 15-minute head start into the jungle. So I'm like out there, I'm shirtless, I'm dirty, I'm like cutting vines together, trying to build a man trap. We'll see who the most dangerous game is, Sal May. Oh my god. I'm bisexual. Yeah, thank you. I'm not really out yet. I know I just told like 30 people. But it's always been a thing, and I mean, people have this moment when they kind of realize they have a solidifying moment for their sexuality. For me, it was when I saw Brokeback Mountain for the first time, which is a beautiful film. I cry like a bitch every time. There's this scene in it where Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal, they haven't seen each other in 5 years, and they have just this like raucous, amazing, passionate, just like cummy sex. You know what I mean? And afterwards they're like spooning, and Jake Gyllenhaal is like curled up, and he's like, I didn't know you were like us. I didn't know you were like queer, like me. And Heath Ledger just stone faces, just, I ain't no queer. Heath Ledger, you just had anal sex with a man. Sounds pretty gay to me, I don't know. Which for me, it was like, I remember being in high school and like getting my ass kicked, and like some guy being like, oh, I heard you sucked Mikey's dick, and me like wiping the cum off my mouth, like, no! That's gay! I don't do that. So I'm friends with my cousin on Facebook, which is a mistake. Because he's one of these like truck fucking like Confederate flag waving pieces of shit. His Facebook profile picture is him just holding this big fish, this big like, shirtless, which is like a sex thing in those circles, I think. He posted a screenshot of a tweet the other day, and this thing had been screenshotted like 8 fucking times. Like it was blurry and fucking like deep fried. It was from somebody named Lib Destroyer, and it said in all caps, if you found out that saying the N-word could cure AIDS, would you liberal pussies sack up and do what's right? No, maybe. Like if my mom got AIDS, I'd whisper it. I don't know. You gotta check this. Man, thanks for coming out. Everybody hyped, everybody excited to be here. So people are always trying to get me to do things, right? They're always like, you should come try hot yoga. Or like, there's this yoga class, I think that you'd be like really good at it. You should try it. Have you heard of vegan free cycling? I just think it's like right up your alley. And I always want to say like, yeah, I could just fucking hang myself. Like, which I can't make that joke at parties. Because I look like I'll do it. Just like desperate, sweaty, like body like a melted candle. It's a threat, it's not a joke. Anyway, that's my time. Thank you very much.
Philadelphia. Hey! How you doing? Any ladies in the audience? That's pretty good for a comedy show. It's usually a bit of a sausage fest. But yeah, I think we can all agree, lady or not, that this is the best time in history to be a woman, right? Like when I was younger, I was under the impression that I had to spend a lot of time making myself attractive to men. As I got older, I realized I don't have to do any of that shit, right? I will fuck you no matter what you look like. You just have to be nearby and willing. And since the Me Too movement happened, I realized half the time you don't even have to be willing. Just nearby. So I stopped wasting all that time trying to make myself attractive, but I cut my hair short, stopped wearing a lot of makeup, but I did start to worry that I was turning into the type of person I used to make fun of. Like, I'm a short-haired, 33-year-old kindergarten teacher with 3 cats who all have Facebook pages. But I am married, so it's not what you think. When my husband proposed to me, I had one of those moments where your whole life flashes before your eyes, you know? And I pictured my future self with like short gray hair in a tiny apartment surrounded by litter boxes. And that's when I knew he was the one. Seriously though, my husband's wonderful. His whole family's great. I did start to suspect that they might be Irish when all of the family portraits they showed me were the size of class photos. There's a lot of them. When we finally did get married, we decided to get matching tattoos instead of wedding rings, which I figured I like could skip the converse. Oh, we decided to get matching tattoos instead of wedding rings, but I already had tons of tattoos, so I figured I could skip the conversation where I told him my dad's not in the picture, right? It's kind of a dad getaway. Yeah. But despite my daddy issues, we've been married for 2 years. Which is a nice way of saying I haven't had sex in a while. But it is a little bit strategic, right? Because like no sex means no kids. And everybody's trying to convince us that we should have kids, but I'm a kindergarten teacher, so they're not fooling me. I don't know if you've read the research, but it turns out that spending time with other people's children is actually the #1 most effective form of birth control available. It's so effective, I'm thinking we should pitch it to Planned Parenthood. Picture a mandatory program where we lend strangers' kids out to teenage boys. I guarantee they'll be pulling out for the rest of their lives. Let me illustrate that point. By round of applause, how many audience members have young children? Anyone? Wow. Exactly, Elsie. Good job. Good for you guys. Yeah. Because, see, the thing is, when you spend time with kids, you realize that they all have one thing in common, which is that they suck at everything. I don't know how many of you have ever watched a young child eat food, but it's crazy. I'll take the furry rodent killers who shit in a box in my basement over that mess any day. But to be fair, it's not the kids' fault that they're dumber than cats. It's the schools that have failed them. And as a teacher, I can say that with a fairly high level of certainty. Like, for example, the Philly School District just announced that they're going to change how they measure school success so that they can comply with government regulations. Which is a great message to send to our kids, right? Because I too believe that the best way to guarantee success is to lower your standards. That's probably why I'm a teacher in the first place. Thanks, guys. It's my time. Hey, there we go. We're back.
It's all right, guys. You can keep going. Keep energy go. See, now I forgot. Oh man, like now I forgot who the next person was. It was like right in my head, and it's like this whole long line. Here, hold on. Oh no, I was gonna just look and it's all right. Keep it going for Jude Welsh, everybody.
I have no reason to smile. Just kind of weird shit lately. I get home, lock the door, pull the curtains, turn out the lights, and I cry a lot on purpose. I cry because I had LASIK. And, you can see perfectly with LASIK, right? What they don't tell you is that you could get dry eye syndrome. And I got dry eye. And, I wouldn't have got LASIK, but my eyes have never been any good. When I was 10, my diet consisted of like bologna, cheese slices, Wonder Bread, lots of M&Ms. And my eyes, they need carrots and broccoli and shit. And my eyes were just like the old man of my body. They just, oh, fuck it. Like an old guy who can't play tennis anymore. Jabba the Hutt looking motherfucking guy. And so I had LASIK and I could see beautifully, but my eyes, the tissues are just rubbing in there and they get red and I need tears because your eyes don't know they're dry anymore. And the closest thing I can think of what this is like sex with no lube, right? Yeah, we've all been there, right? I mean, except for maybe one of you players who's got like a big 55-gallon drum of that shit and pumps it when he needs it like he's putting out a fire, but for most of us, we've had sex without lube and it just burns and you just do it because you care about the person, and you know, it burns and you put cream on it and you're tiptoeing around the house and you don't want to pee and everything, and that's how my eyes feel. You know, that's how my eyes feel. They're fucking dry and rolling around in there, scratching. It's hard to look at shit. And you know, at least with sex, somebody gets to come, right? My eyes don't get to come. No, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. There's no happy ending for my eyes. There is no money shot. Nothing. They're just dry and in pain. And the only thing I can do is to cry on purpose. And the only way I can do that I know how is to think about the death of my sister. So I think about all the different ways that she could die. Yeah. First it was normal, like, you know, car crash. Oh, God, she died. It'd be horrible. I just get these tears of joy and my eyes rolling around in there. Just like if you had 2 peeled hard-boiled eggs that were wet, and they were, you know, like this, and they're like a couple of balls, you know, they're just, I just love to open the door and look at shit when I have tears. It's such a pleasure. You know? And, but then I had to imagine more serious ways she could die, you know? Like plane crash. Oh, it'd be fucking horrible, because the normal stuff wasn't doing it anymore. I wasn't getting tears over it. I had to think about her at a foreign market with ISIS and a bomb and, you know, all kinds of stuff. And then I finally just got over the death of my sister. You know, it's going to be pretty easy when she goes, you know? She just won't be there anymore. Yeah, you know, pass the remote. I mean, I've been getting ready for that shit. So I don't cry anymore over that, so I've been going to funerals. Yeah, I look them up in the obituary. They're really easy to crash. Nobody gives a shit. Everybody's happy you're there. You know, I'm so sorry about Bob. And it's like, his name was Amos. They're like, oh, we used to call him Bob at the shop. Nobody cares, and you're seeing everybody grieving, and you see these joyous tears in my eyes again. They're rolling around in there. It feels so good. But then that stopped doing it for me, you know? And I had to just cut the funerals. I was spending too much on gas. And I can't meet women because my eyes are all red, and, you know, I'm always crying, and, you know, women, they look at me, and it's like, oh, look at the crying guy. He's vulnerable. You know, don't fall for that, Bridget. He's weird. Who cries in public? Men don't cry. You know, so, I don't know. So I can't meet women, so I've been hiring prostitutes. Yeah, it's true. And I don't want sex, though. I just give them $20 to tell me a sad story about their life. That's all I want is tears, baby. That's it. And if somehow that's a real tear-jerking story, I'll give them an extra $10. And if the story makes me come, I'll give them $5 extra. I'll peel off a Lincoln for them. And, yeah, you know, I only hire old prostitutes because, you know, I go out there and I'm trying to hunt for hookers who'll cry for cash. And I only hire old ones because I tell them about my dryness. They tell me about their dryness, and we have this moment of connection. It's just amazing. So that's all I got for you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
So, moms are really great, right? And they can do some really hilarious and yet annoying things. Like, my mom likes to sign her text, love mom, and in parentheses, her name, Elaine. Mystery solved, thank you, Andrew and Terry, appreciate that one. Or she'll call me 5 times a day, and then she'll get irritated with me for being distant. And then this is also my favorite one, when she's driving and her phone rings. She makes me pick up her phone like I'm her unpaid intern. And this really puts me over the edge because this combines 2 things I really dislike. People and talking to them over the phone. So you can already tell that my struggle with mom and technology is definitely very real. And it reached a different level when I was trying to help her sync her iPod shuffle. Do you guys remember those? Yeah, like the early ones were like the Pez dispensers of music, like a slight upgrade from a Discman with the sleekness of a beeper. And we're about an hour in, and I'm pretty fucking convinced she hasn't even opened iTunes. And, you know, she gets so annoyed with me, and it just goes silent, and she drops this line, Alana, you were unplanned. And hangs up the phone. Alright, So all of this over an iPod Shuffle, which holds like maybe 50 Enya songs. Like that level of truth really feels like it should be reserved for an iPod Touch, which has far more functionality and space. Seems more reasonable to me, at least. So in grieving my mom, it's been really cathartic and really humorous because I have really wonderful stories about her. And if there's one thing I've learned about grief is that it shows up in the most inconvenient times. Like, grief is kind of like that ex who you dated somewhere in between 2 to 10 years, and when you're having a really bad week, somehow you end up sleeping with them. And it's fine, as long as it's on your terms. But if it's not, and they show up and they just barge in, you're completely thrown off. And you gotta spend like the next 3 weeks in therapy and like listening to shit like Edwin McCain and, you know, the XX, and Third Eye Blind. So basically like the Dawson's Creek soundtrack. And if I lost any of my younger millennials on that one, I'll get you back with avocado toast later. So yeah, no, and you know, this is the other thing that I really appreciate about grief. When it shows up at when you least expect it. So a few weeks ago, I was in Trader Joe's, and my mom loved Annie Lennox, and an Annie Lennox song comes up on, and I just lose it, and I just start crying. But you know, and crying as an adult in a public place, it's still fairly humiliating. But as an adult, like, you have to get stuff done. Like, you probably planned this trip to Trader Joe's all week. You can't leave now. And if you're in IKEA, you definitely can't leave because you probably booked that one a month in advance. And so I'm like, all right, here we are. I'm crying, we're fine. I'm just going to lean into it, grab my spinach. And then I lock eyes with one of the extremely excitable and overly informed salesmen, probably named Lewin, maybe named Sherwin. Both sound right? And I look at him and I'm like, all right, here we are. And I lean into him. Like, I'm about to share a secret fucking family recipe or something like that. And I'm like, all right, Sherman, I don't know how to tell you this. And I'm standing right in front of the baby carrots. I'm like, all right, so last night I had sex with a micro penis, and these baby carrots are really triggering right now. And like, maybe you can understand my level of frustration. And Sherman just pulls back. And sheer panic hits me. I'm like, all right, this is how I get thrown out of Trader Joe's. This is what's going to happen because they have standards for their food, and apparently I don't have standards if I'm trying to have sex with a micro penis. So, the other way that it shows up oftentimes, grief, is in recurring dreams. I have this one specific dream about my mom, and when I share that with people, they're like, oh, that's so special, that's so sentimental. No, the fuck it's not. Because usually in this dream, she shows up and she tells me that she's alive 5 minutes after I've sent out her funeral announcement. And instead of being really relieved and really excited to see her and wanting to catch up on all the things I've missed, I just look at her because now I'm just really irritated. I'm like, Mom, now I've got to call all these people and cancel. And half these people who I haven't even talked with probably for, I don't know, the past 15 years. Because let's face it, like, you end up inviting 250 people to funerals and weddings that you really don't know and really don't like. So I just look at her and she looks at me, and for a moment I just wonder, you know, what are the ethics behind canceling a funeral via group text or via tweet? I don't know. Thank you so much. Keep it going for a lot of Lindsay, please keep it going for the very funny Jay.
Woo, how you doing? Good. I was on CP time, my bad. Had this many white people smile at a brother since the Super Bowl. What I want to talk about? First thing I want to talk about is the flu. The flu been fucking everybody up. Flu is in its best form of African sniper this year. It is fucking everybody up. It's just, doesn't matter who you are. It caught me on my way to the car, just, fucked me up. Just got me and I was done. I was out for a long time. It hurt though. It hurt. It was hard. It was almost as hard as it is being black. I'm not gonna lie to you. Most of you understand what that is, right? Most of you understand how hard it is being black. You understand, brother. I got you. You got me. Being black is hard. It's hard enough that I'm doing stand-up comedy just for some volunteer work on my resume. It's that hard. Let me see. Yeah, we killing this. Everybody know that. Gotta stop that black on black crime. Yeah. Fried chicken is killing us. Can't even eat that shit. Having heart attacks. Dying. Police killing us. Y'all had to see that coming. Yeah, police is fucking us up. I did have a little scramble with police once. It's a real thing. It really fucked me up for some headlights, and he thought it was okay because he asked his partner if he could fuck me up some more while he was fucking me up. So it's just like, psh, psh, psh. You got your mace? No. Psh, psh, psh. You got your taser? I was like, when you gonna stop fucking me up with this nice thing? I mean, just because he don't have anything else to fuck me up with some more. That's it. Eventually, let me go. I mean, just headlights. Yeah. Winter Olympics going on though. That's fucking great. Winter Olympics going on. I love watching figure skating. It's elegant. It's finesse. It's everything I want my woman to be. It's good. I'm waiting for them to blackerize figure skating though. Not gonna lie. I would love to see twerking on ice. Yeah. Everyone can agree that twerking on ice would be awesome. Yeah. The grading scale for that would be better. Yeah, we're gonna grade that on finesse, size, and bounciness. It'll be a lot of 10s with the right judge. It'll be a lot of 10s. Yeah, but I do love the Winter Olympics though. Winter Olympics are great. But if we did happen to make it to figure skating, you know, we come back and realize they don't really give a fuck. You know, I love the LGBT movement. You know, I love, you know, comparing movements between that and Black Lives Matter. I think LGBT did a great job of stopping the whole saying gay thing. That was great. For those of you who were around, which looks like all of us were, they had that commercial, said you can't say gay. They had that commercial, they did it, and it fucking worked, which was great. I don't think that would work for nigga, though. Yeah, a lot of y'all, that really hit home, didn't it? Yeah. Everybody wants to say nigga. Everybody wants to say it. Raise your hand if you said nigga. Yeah. We got a lot of weird people here. I like it. Don't raise it. That's good. Don't do that. Everybody wants to say nigga. Everybody wants to say it. I don't know why people want to say nigga. I've said nigga my whole life. I've ended up here doing this. So I don't know why everybody wants to say nigga. It's not great. But I do want to tell y'all can say nigga in more places than just your living room. Or when the fucking Sixers are losing. Okay. You can say nigga more than that. And you can say it in front of niggas. I'll be honest with you. You want to know how to do it? A lot of you are really intrigued. I'll tell you exactly how you do it. So, you can talk about niggas when some nigga shit happen to your only nigga friend, and you gotta take advantage of that nigga moment. Okay? I'm gonna tell you how that sounds. So, next time you see a police beating or shooting, and it will happen, just wait on it. Okay? It's just a matter of time. Fuck it. It's probably happened on my way in here. It was probably going to be me. But when it does happen, I want you to go to your one or two black friends that happen to be closest. Okay? You got to make sure it's on when it's happening. I want you to go. Yo, you gotta check this shit out, man. Look at this nigga shit happening right here. They got all these niggas fucking up this man. Come on, man, look. This is some nigga shit happening here. See how confusing that was? You have managed to say nigga without talking about niggas. Second grade. I'm Jay Funny. That's my time. Have a good one.
And keep that energy going.
y'all doing?
Good.
My name is Gandhi. A lot of shit going on with me right now. Holy hell, it's fucking hot here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a lot going on with me right now. Just broke up with my girlfriend, so I'm single. Single. Yeah. Single and ready to microwave meals by myself. It's fucking pitiful. Single and back to that Netflix and no one. It's fucking, it's rough. It's rough. But you know what I like to think? I like to think of this thing my dad used to tell me. It's one of the greatest phrases. You know, all my friends tell me, oh, you'll be fine, blah, 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 all these different metaphors. My dad's phrase is the best. It's 3 words. It's versatile. You'll have this. You know? You'll have this. It's true. It's true. You know, one day I found $60 on the ground. Yeah, I have this. Yeah. One time I got stuck in an elevator on my way to my first day at work at a new job. And they had to pull the fire alarm to get me out of it. Let everyone know that I was showing up for work. Yeah, you'll have this. The most recent thing I can think of, I can apply this to in my life, was this past Wednesday. Just lost my job. Woo! You'll have this. You'll have this. And you know, there's signs though. You know, this is the second time this has happened to me, and there's signs. You know, maybe one of them's like, you know, work's starting to slow down, and nobody's really doing anything, or you know what? The one sign you gotta look out for is when your boss comes up to you and says, "Hey, wanna come over to this meeting real quick?" My word of advice to you, just say no. If you say no, you'll keep your job. It's true. I mean, what are they gonna do? Like, I was a sucker for both times that happened to me. You know, they're like, hey, you wanna stop by? You know, we gotta go to this meeting really quick. This meeting that I didn't see on the schedule, that was never appointed and was never told about. Both times, yeah. Fucking went over. That's some bullshit. You know, usually the HR is supposed to do that for you. You're supposed to walk in, it's supposed to be HR, and they'll be like, I'm so sorry. Now, I had the chief financial officer shove me out the door. I mean, I could tell, I was like, all right, I get you're trying to be sincere, but you're not bullshitting me. This is helping you get a nice, clear budget for the rest of the year. And we kick this guy's ass out the door, you'll be fine. You know, everyone gets a little bonus. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Pretty much it, dude. I mean, I was gonna go to China. Yeah, right. It's a fucking joke. I was gonna go to China. It's not gonna happen. I mean, it might. You know, I went and I applied for my visa. Went to New York like 5 times. Some bullshit. And when I finally got there, I gave them this letter of this invitation letter you're supposed to have from your friend. And they're like, oh, it's not long enough, or you know, it's not inclusive enough. What are you gonna do in China? I don't fucking know. I'm gonna start a capitalist revolution. What do you fucking think I'm gonna do in China? I'm gonna go to Beijing. I'm gonna check out Tiananmen Square, all this shit. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys tonight.
So hard again. Thank you guys so much for being here. Keep supporting your comedian friends and family, because this doesn't happen to us forever. You guys all fade away. We're not Kevin Hart right away. So keep coming out and supporting comedy. We have a special guest headliner for you tonight for your enjoyment. She's a good friend of mine. She runs a weekly mic at Fergie's called You Up, and a monthly or bi-monthly showcase at the Dock Street Cannery called Comedy at the Cannery. Please give a warm welcome to the very funny Jillian Markowitz.
Thank you. Let's hear it for everyone you're actually here to see. They were amazing. This is a really nice welcome back to Philly. I was in Florida for a while. If you've never been, Florida is like Jersey and Vegas had a baby and smoked through the whole pregnancy. supposed to be a 2-month tour, and then I got there and found out it had been canceled. Which would be okay, except my family lives in Florida and I had to spend time with them. See, as Jews get older, we migrate to warmer climates like Florida to prepare ourselves for eternal hellfire. Now, it's true we don't believe in hell, but we definitely believe in hedging our bets. So, can't be too careful. While I was there, I saw my grandfather. And when he saw me, he said, "Well, look at you. You should give up this stand-up business and take up modeling." I don't know what he meant, but what I heard was, "You have a better chance of losing 30 pounds and gaining 4 inches than ever making it in comedy." Do you guys think he's right? So it was good timing because I was getting over a breakup. I just went through a breakup. I came through stronger though, with intimacy issues to keep me independent and 20 extra pounds to keep me warm at night. I am my own boyfriend. I am my own boyfriend. Okay, I probably should stop doing affirmations in the middle of my sentence. But I have been doing affirmations every day in the mirror to keep my spirits up. And I wrote a song about my affirmations to help me remember. I'd like to play it for you. Woo! You can clap. That's This is what I say to myself in the mirror every day. Dear Jill, don't even bother having any dreams, 'cause sooner or later someone comes to crush them. Don't even bother eating your favorite foods, 'cause sooner or later those foods will get you fatter. And if you get fatter, your mate value goes down and no one wants to fuck you, but you shouldn't fuck them anyway, 'cause if you fuck them you'll just want to go to sleep. Then you will sleep through having your dreams crushed, and then you die. Thank you so much. So I think I know what went wrong in my last relationship, because you know how in every couple there's one person who's hornier? Okay, you know what I'm talking about. You're not all perfectly matched with your sexual partner. Oh my god, I'm a freak. Okay. Well, in our case, I was the hornier one, because I discovered masturbating when I was 4. Now, I didn't call it masturbating because I was 4. I called it Jillian secreting. I thought it was mine. I had discovered it. And I love that, because on paper, the word secreting is just secreting. It's technically accurate. It's like I knew, I just didn't have the pronunciation skills yet. So I was off Jillian secreting while he was in Catholic school learning Catholic stuff like sex is for sinners and birth control is the devil's rhesus puffs. That's right? I don't know. Jewish. I think I am enjoying being single. I love being single. And I don't think that I want to have sex with anyone else right away, because I have a lot of anxiety. And my feeling is, if I am going to spend the next 4 months alternating between Google searches of do I have herpes and am I pregnant, I just want it to be for someone I could really fall for. Someday my prince will come inside me. And I do have a lot of anxiety, and it annoys me when I go to a friend's house and it's really beautiful and everything looks perfect, and I comment and they say, "Thanks, I have OCD." Now look, I'm not trying to play the game of who has the most oppressive serotonin receptors, okay, because I will win. But I sometimes wish that I could have the useful kind of OCD that helps you organize your cabinets, instead of the kind where my brain tells me things like, your entire family will get Ebola if you don't knock on wood 48 times to the tune of Sugar Hill Gang. Just gonna hippity hip hip hop to a bloody bloody death. I've been trying to be a little bit more careful about what I'm putting out there because, well, I started writing comedy songs a few years ago, and shortly after I started writing them, something weird happened. I started to realize that the things that I was writing about were coming to fruition in my life. So I would write about an unrequited love situation. Lo and behold, I would end up in an unrequited love situation. I would write about like a bad breakup, and then 2 years later, I would go through a breakup that took the exact trajectory outlined in my song. So once I realized that my songs were coming to fruition in my life, I felt there was only one song that I could write, and this is it. All my dreams came true. If you're not living your best life, wow, that must really suck for you. My high school crush regrets his behavior. I can orgasm on command. I'm one of those girls who can come at the gym. I'm so skinny my friends are concerned, but it's actually thinly veiled jealousy. All my dreams came true. If you're not living your best life, wow, that must really suck for you. Everybody wants to date me, but they also want to fuck me, but they're still cool with just being friends as long as that is what I want. They are totally happy with that, so it's not like I'm leading them on. All my dreams came true. If you're not living your best life, wow, that must really suck for you. My parents support all of my life choices. They brag about me to their friends. They even ask if I'm eating enough because seriously, I'm like really skinny. All my dreams came true. If you're not living your best life, wow, that must really suck for you. I am making so much money just singing and doing comedy. The whole community is very supportive. They all respect me and believe that I earned this. They retweet me all the time. All my dreams came true. If you're not living your best life, man, that must really suck for you. There is no more famine in Yemen. North Korea and South Korea are just Korea now. ISIS develops their own little commune. They aren't going to hurt anyone anymore. And oh my god, I'm still so skinny. You guys have been amazing. Let's hear it for host and teacher